Howdy. Welcome back to One Rental at a Time. Is success why you will fail? Every now and then I like to come up with a topic where I think the topic makes people think I'm a little bit crazy. And so the idea was, and the lumberjack landlord might be joining us shortly, I believe, and I honestly believe this, if we were successful, Mike and I would still be working. Mike, you started investing in stocks. You took $7,000. This is what my bad memory remembers. And you grew it to 190,000, a great accomplishment. And then life kicked you in the teeth. And it dropped from 190 down to 40.
Yep.
Had you been successful in investing in stocks, I think your life would have went a different way. I think retirement accounts, long-term stock investments, the corporate ladder would have made more sense. You wouldn't have had the cash flow that real estate produces. You would have had a net worth and been able to factor the 4% rule and everything. But I think at 46, when your boss said, no, you're going to do these things, had you been investing in stocks, you might have said that corporate ladder is still the way to go.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, if I was able to, continue that run, even if the 190 turned into like 150, I still would have been, all in on stocks and would have done that race. I would have certainly by now probably multiple 7-figure net worth. But to your point, I would have had to continue to climb the corporate ladder. I would probably be a completely different person. I would definitely be more me versus we. And yeah, I'm a completely different person because I failed. And there's even more to this. I think this line is success why you will fail goes even bigger than that. But yeah, if you look at my personal story, you're absolutely right. We would not know each other. I mean, it's that simple. If I didn't suffer that, dramatic fall and become depressed and seeking another answer, this game, one rental at a time, would not exist.
I believe that at some point in your journey, you and Olivia decided we're living on everything we make. We really need to cut back to invest. That doesn't generally happen with stock investors who are thinking dollar cost average, long-term growth, compound interest, retirement accounts, delay taxes. 59.5 looks a lot more attractive than 46 when you're talking about retirement accounts because of the paywall you put them behind. And then how many times have we heard the story very similar to mine that luckily you have avoided? Most people that I know of go, I got divorced and this is why I'm rich now. Like the path they changed, the control of their finances. I never had control of my finances till after the divorce. But in 2008, I was 8 years into working in law enforcement. I really loved the job. I was we call it search and rescue, but it was really search and recovery, scuba, the team here in the Pacific Northwest for multi-counties because we had mutual assist with a bunch. Loved the job. Had I not got laid off because of the 2008 recession, I would probably be getting close to having a pension, which is not enough to retire on. I'd be working to so-so security, which combined, I probably would have had an okay retirement.
Right.
What if I were successful at not getting laid off and having the job that I liked and not getting fired for the recession? I not only would I not be retired for the last 3 years, I never would have bought a rental. Like that's not something that crosses most police officers. I'm not the millennial Mike of the police world. I would have been one of the guys working with Mike, taking a picture of his Business Insider article and posting it on the wall to pick on him.
I saw that.
It was the failure at the job I wanted that made me start investing.
Yeah.
Had I started working at the CDL school and got a bunch of promotions early on, I don't think I would have bought a rental. Like, I don't know, this job's paying so much. This is great. But no, I had the job at $17 an hour. First
And
couple of
3
years, I don't
kids.
think I broke $20 an hour till 3 or 4 years in.
Yeah.
And I thought, I have to create a pension. And so I think the viewer can take their life and think, if everything goes the way you want it at work and in your relationship, would you invest? Or is it something at your job is so bad that you're failing at that makes you decide, I have to take control and make changes?
I think it's that last line that's important, right? It seems, again, I've now helped thousands of people down this path, and it always seems like there's an event or a trigger that sends them down this, this ramp of self-discovery and ownership instead of comfort, right? We talk about all the time on this journey, the first 5 years sucking. And it's kind of the price of admission, right? If you're going to build wealth in real estate or investing in general, you got to pay the dues. You got to learn your lessons. You got to make mistakes. You got to meet more people. You got to, do all these things. And it takes time for the income snowball, which you talk about, to kind of really generate. It takes time for the compounding of appreciation and cash flow. It's just slow, but it's certain. And the other thing I think about when you talk about this phrase, is success why you fail? I actually think so. If you go back to high school for me, right? I was a public school kid my whole life. It was a very, I don't know, let's call it a rough 7th and 8th grade, right? Getting in fights and losing all the time and, all of that stuff. And my parents, my mom specifically, she basically said, I have to take you out of this because I'm afraid I'm going to lose you, right? You're going to be dead, right? This is the way this is going, right? And my mom, certainly doesn't want to see her son dead or in jail. And so I go to St. Francis. It's a Catholic school in Mountain View. And that was really rough for me because I knew no one. I was one of two kids from my 8th grade that went there, and the other one I didn't know, Jim or James or something. And so I was a fish out of water. But where I'm going with this story is I was around money for the first time, like real money. Right. I mean, these kids were paying for lunch with $100 bills. They were driving Mercedes and Corvettes and just crazy ass cars as teenagers. There was a guy with a Porsche and just all kinds of crazy money. But what I realized was they didn't have a hunger or a desire. They had no work ethic. Everything was handed to them. So where I often think St. Francis was a horrible mistake and I didn't enjoy it, it was the worst 4 years of my life, probably. I now look at it like, oh, I had to get through it, right? You go through hell, keep going. And I mean, I've never gone back, but I didn't go to any class reunions or anything because I hate all of those people. But it would be hard for me to think that many of them are ahead of where we are now because I had to struggle, I had to fight, I had to keep going. So it's I think if you're too comfortable, to your kind of point, and you're on this path and life is easy, you don't take the hard route. And the hard route's, investing and sacrificing.
So I picture the viewer who had some event in their life where they think, okay, I have to take charge of my finances. I'm going to go to YouTube University and I'm going to binge watch one rental at a time. And I'm going to absorb this information and I'm going to find the millionaire that comes on that most relates to them. And it could be the crypto guy. It could be the apartments guy. It could be the flipping guy. It could be any one of them that they gravitate towards, and they binge watch and they educate themselves and they start making choices, getting closer to financial freedom. The problem is the people around that person haven't had the life event that said, you need to pay attention to your finances.
Yeah.
They haven't been kicked in the teeth by life, and they're working, right? I had coworkers that were trying for the next promotion, that were thinking, at the next pay increase, I will be able to get this vehicle, or I'll be able to take this trip, instead of how much more I'll be able to invest, or why I'm working for this promotion so that I'll be able to invest more and put more money to work so that I won't have to work forever. But all of us have tried to talk to the people who haven't been kicked in the teeth, who get the look. Why do you live in a duplex? You're one of the managers here at this company, and your person working for you just bought this $700,000 really nice house. Why don't you do that? And it's not even worth explaining. It's not an argument worth having because they don't see yet. And I'm kind of torn. Do you want your friends and coworkers to eventually get kicked in the teeth so hard by life that they have to make changes? Or would you hope that they would just wake up and go, hey, that life that you're living looks really good. How did you do that? Like, that's the hope, that they don't have to get kicked in the teeth.
Well, let's save that question for the lumberjack. He now appears to be pulled over. Well, let's rephrase that question, bring him into this conversation. How you doing, Matt?
Doing great, boys. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing well. We actually started on the is success why you will fail conversation. That way we can make sure you're part of conversation number 2. But Dion actually has a question that we just want to rope you in on and allow you to respond to. Go ahead, Dion.
Yeah. First, Matt, I'll start with that vehicle you're in. Doesn't look like that 1992 one seatbelt, no heater thing that you rode me around in when I came back and saw you.
This is the new toy.
Okay.
This is it's a 9-seater conversion van with televisions and heated seats and seat warmers, and now
Oh,
you'll
goodness.
actually want to come out and visit and go for a ride, and you'll just sit in the back and I'll chauffeur you around.
Sounds like a plan. It'll still be in the summer, but it'll
be in the summer. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what we were talking about is, I believe that if Mike didn't have a major loss in stocks and didn't realize one day that Olivia and him needed to cut their finances by 50% and change investing strategies, and if I wasn't laid off from law enforcement and didn't have a divorce and didn't find out about a bunch of bad debt, and if you didn't have that loss when you were investing and the dot-com crash took like 90% of your portfolio, I don't have the numbers memorized, I just know it was a big percentage.
Yeah.
If those things didn't happen and we were successful, you continue to invest in stocks, contribute to your retirement account, climb the corporate ladder. My theory is we'd still be working and we probably wouldn't know each other. And I would have another decade of work ahead of me, because I think success stops a lot of people from succeeding in investing because life is too easy.
I agree. Yeah, I think that the challenge the challenge is that there's many successful people and they think they're more successful than they thought they would be. And so the level of success that they attain is good enough.
Hmm.
And that's where, for me as an entrepreneur, that's where I'm completely broken. Is that there's always something more to do. There's always something bigger that can be done. The question is are you in a place in life where you want to do it? And so that 90% reduction in funds that I lost all in the dot-com bomb, that could have been something that I spent the next 30 or 40 years talking about at parties.
Right.
And being a loser and accepting what happened to me and recognizing that it is what it is. But, but that knocked me in the teeth and I never got up. Like, okay, there's people that are like that. They're professional victims. And there's people that also have multiple runs like that where they just get obliterated. I had that. I almost went bankrupt 3 times, because of a lead order when I was starting the housing stuff. And because I went from 9 paying tenants to 1 paying tenant. Like, resilience cannot be taught. It can only be learned.
Yeah. The question I thought Dion asked that I'd love to get your opinion on, Matt, was, now that the 3 of us are where we are, we've kind of got to the end of the race and we're enjoying life. And then you interact with people and they look at you and they haven't had a hard thing. They haven't had a surprise layoff. They haven't had a divorce and finding all this debt. The question Dion asked is, do you almost hope that they have the hard moment so they go on, or do you just or do you hope they see your life and go, hey, how do I get some of that?
No, I mean, I think that I think if it happens too late in life, it can be the thing that ends you just because you don't want to start over again. Like if that happens at 55, and there's people that lose their jobs at 55, right? And then it's, they never get that level of job again. And they spend the next 10 years or 12 years eking it out, just trying to get to retirement.
Right.
And so I think that, I think that it's okay that some people live a nerf life because that's all they're mentally and emotionally prepared to live. The sad thing is I think most kids are being taught now today that nerf life is okay, while Gary Vee teaches them, hey, between your 18 and 30, do everything that's completely ridiculous, audacious, and what you love and see if it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that message because it's like, okay, so maybe life starts at 30 and maybe it's going to be some different decisions. Maybe you spend 12 years failing, but you just never know. And so I think that often the people that fail are the people that were trying something. And you can't be an entrepreneur if you're scared of failing. And quite frankly, you're going to be much less successful in life if you're too afraid to fail, and that stops you from trying.
Yeah, the big thing that I talked about before you jumped on was, my my first interaction with real money was in high school, where there were, teenage kids with more money than I'd ever seen at St. Francis. And it's funny how at the time I looked at them, frankly, probably jealous, envious. I was probably like, why not me, or whatever woos me. But now I think about most of them and I'm like, they're just soft as toilet paper, right? They had no struggle. Their parents gave them everything. So I'm glad it was a battle. I'm glad that I proved to myself I could do hard things and keep moving forward. So I struggle with, that whole, you got to accomplish something. You got to prove to yourself it's hard. And it's an interesting question. Dion?
I think Matt has a good point, and I think it's a clarification that really helps. So when the .com crash happened, you weren't the only people who lost a bunch of money in stocks.
True. No.
When 2008 happened, I wasn't the only officer who got laid off, or the only person who got laid off, right? So I think a lot of people took a major loss and didn't change.
Right.
Thought, I better climb the corporate ladder harder so I'm in a higher position if this ever happens again, not realizing that's even more risky. And so I think it's all, I guess it comes down to, that's what I was trying to figure out, and kind of why I wanted to have the conversation with the three of us, is most people that we know who are successful had a major loss.
Yeah, I can't think of one that didn't have some kind of whoops.
And it isn't that having a major loss is the catalyst that makes you successful. I think it's a certain type of person who goes, well, because of this loss, let me make a change. There's a bunch of people who go, that loss sucks. Let me go back to exactly what I was doing. And
it's the wake-up call. It's do you see that event as a wake-up call to do something different? Or do you see it as, validation to just keep doing what you're doing? I think it's that kind of a fork in the road. You either realize you've got to do something different, or you're going to just double down. I think that's what it is, Matt.
Yeah, victor or victim, your choice. Your choice. Life is what you make of it. I'm a 9th grade dropout. Every single teacher that I had said I wouldn't amount to much. I retired before most of them.
That's true.
So
go ahead.
Hope it was worth it. 20 years later, like, again, it's like you can use that for fuel and fight, or you cannot. And so, a lot of people would deem me as arrogant, and it's not arrogant. It's not arrogant at all. It's confidence that no matter what comes at me, I'm going to fight against it. I'm going to push against it, and I'm going to overcome it. And it might be a year, it might be 6 months, it might be 5 years. I don't know. Hard saying. But I'm not going to stop trying. I'm not going to stop pushing. I'm not going to stop fighting. And those are the kind of people, we do it when we hire people. We see, one of the things that we say, the meanest thing that we can say about anybody that we hire is they got a lot of quit in them.
Yeah.
And as soon as we identify that gene in them, we're not interested anymore. We don't use them as a contractor anymore.
Yeah. I like it. Well, Dion, why don't you bring this home for us, wrap us up, and we'll get on to topic number 2.
Well, what I would really like is for the people in the comments to let us know. Did you have a really bad life event that made you start investing? Or are you the unicorn that was being successful? Everything was going smooth, and you decided to make some major life changes. Start house hacking, start saving, drastically reduce your expenses, educate yourself on real estate. Whatever that step was, did it take a catalyst? Or am I off on this completely?
Yeah. Yeah. Unicorns do happen. Dion, where can they find you?
Right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom, where I do a live stream every Tuesday, 4:00 Pacific, that lasts as long as the questions do. And yes, I'll answer the rude questions too.
Matt, where do they find you?
Lumberjack Landlord, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday nights. And this week, it will be coming to you from beautiful Canada. We'll be in Toronto. And so I'm excited to do a show from Toronto.
Nice. I love Toronto's the only city I remember traveling to where I actually turned the camera around and said, Olivia, we got to come here. It's a beautiful city.
It's a great city. It really is. So excited to, even though if the Maple Leafs are their hockey team, it's still a great city.
The city's still great. Maybe not hockey, but All right, guys, take care. Have a good trip. Later.
Thanks, Mike.